What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Reset channel. We just woke up a little bit ago and decided today would be the day to go ahead and knock out this big project. As I said in the live video on the other channel, my sister needs some help, and since we need to go to Oregon anyway, did some looking, and I can get new tires for about $300 less over there than what I would pay for them here, due to sales tax and a couple other things that can save me a few bucks. And as you can tell, this thing is in dire need of tires. So we're going to take this truck. Now the issue is, this is a very used truck. I have no idea about the service history of this truck. Has the transmission fluid been done? Rear differential? All that kind of stuff. It's got 130,000 miles on it. So, all of that will be going into the truck today. I, of course, will bring you along, show you the little things here and there. A lot of it's just basic maintenance. But let's get into it. I'll catch up with you guys in a minute. All right. So, transmissions are awesome. Wearing a little bit of it. Caught most of it in the pan, or the drain pan. Spilled a little. Most of that came out of the filter. My best guess, this is the original fluid. It was in bad shape. It was burnt. We were starting to get a little bit of clutch material in the pan. Got it all cleaned out. New gasket. She's putting all the bolts in so it holds the gasket in place. I've already got the new filter installed. I'm looking forward to getting this done so I can get a shower. That's gross, but I'm very glad that we did this. I would say there's a very, very good chance that was the original fluid from '05. It was very much burnt. It still had some red to it, as you can tell, but it was definitely starting to blacken a little, and it absolutely had the smell. So it wouldn't have been too much longer, and this trans very well may have eaten itself. So, preventative maintenance. As soon as we get this pan put back on, next step will be engine oil. I'll catch you guys in a little bit. Alright, guys. Transmission's done. It needs refilled, but it's put together. As you can see, the engine oil has not been changed regularly on this truck, and they had the incorrect filter on there. Yes, by part number and thread pitch and everything, it was correct. It did fit. However, spending a lot of time on the forums talking to people that have had these and build the motors performance-wise, while several companies make an oil filter for that engine that has the right thread pitch and everything, yada yada yada, the only one that actually does the proper filtration, and this is just what I'm getting talking to other people. It could be right, it could be wrong, I don't know. But Mopar makes a filter specific for the Viper that apparently has different filtration elements or something inside it. I don't know. I don't know the details, but I've been told by several people that is the one you need. So, if you go over here, you will see, well, maybe you won't. You won't see. You can see right there. It says it's printed on it Viper specifically for this engine. It's a couple bucks more expensive. Not terrible. Again, don't take what I'm saying here as gospel. This is what I've been able to figure out off of the forums. Also, if you have higher mileage on these, like this one, 130,000, they say anything over 60, switch out to a 1550. These are notorious for having horrible valve train rattle, which this one does, and what I'm being told is the 1550 gets rid of that. I'll know in a couple hours. Anyway, I got the new filter installed, as you saw. It's currently draining all of the old oil out. Once that gets done, we will take care of some cosmetic stuff that we need done on the truck, and then we'll do the rear differential. Then we're doing some stuff under the hood after that, and I'll catch up with you guys shortly. All right, we're back again, and took the front wheels off to do some cosmetic stuff. Again, I'm sure at this point you guys know what's happening. They're getting and I'm gonna hear all sorts of, "Oh my God, you're spray painting the wheels." Da, 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 da. They have been severely curbed, all four of them, and the front ones, which are both inside the garage, wife is wiping them down and getting ready to color them. They have gotten so hot and been so neglected that the clear coat is gone, and they are turning almost a pink color. I just thought it was like brake dust or something. Wiped it off, cleaned it, washed it thoroughly, got some brake dust cleaner stuff, and got back down. And the clear coat shot, they're turning pink in spots. They're done. So again, before I spend the money to have these powder coated and professional and what I think I want them to be, I want to try it on the cheap and make sure it's right. So, also, let's see. These are the lug nuts that came off of it, and I'm not sure if you can tell right up there at the very top, it's splitting. About half of the lug nuts have split like that, and many of the ones that have split have more than one edge split. So it's a good thing I ordered new ones, because I knew what I was doing here cosmetically and what I wanted. So I ordered a set that are what I wanted. They're over there in the pile that I showed you this morning, and we're just about done up here in the front, and then we'll do the rear, and then she'll be ready for maybe a test drive. We'll see what happens. After taking these wheels off and examining the tires, we will definitely be taking our time nice and slowly to Oregon to get the tires replaced, because they are worse than I thought. So we'll be taking it easy, and fingers crossed. I'll catch you guys here in a little bit. All right, here we go again. So she's still in there doing the cosmetic stuff. I went ahead and decided to take this apart, and that filter is destroyed. Not really showing up on camera, but it is almost black. So what we have in here, brand new from K&N. So we'll get that dropped in. We've put most of the oil into the engine and transmission. I don't want to try and top them off because it is still up on jack stands, and with it sitting like this, you're not going to get an accurate reading. So I put a majority of the fluid in there just so A, it killed time while I was waiting for her to do what she's doing, and B, I just wanted the fluid back in. I don't know. So we're going to put this filter in. We already cleaned out the air box inside, and we'll see if we can get the rear diff fluid with it up like this. I think we're going to have to lift the back end though, since this truck is lowered. But I'll be back with you in a couple minutes to see where we ended up. All right, guys, good morning. Day 2. Well, for you, it'll be the same day. We ran into some issues yesterday, and things didn't quite go exactly as we had planned. I showed you those lug nuts that were all busted up, and I had told you that I got new ones and everything was fine. Well, what had happened was I took one of these lug nuts and I went down to O'Reilly's, and they have this little thing on there that has all the thread pitches and everything, and I went, cool, it screws onto that one. So I ordered lug nuts because I couldn't find, well, they did have what I wanted, but they were like $92 or something stupid like that, and I'm not willing to pay that for lug nuts. Well, I wasn't. And then I got the front wheels off, and as you saw, wife was doing the cosmetic goodies to them, and I went to put the wheels on when she was done, and I was done doing the mechanical stuff I needed to do, and the lug nuts wouldn't go on. And went back and forth and tried this and tried that and cleaned the threads, and a little bit of anti-seize maybe help lube it up, and wouldn't go. So I went back to O'Reilly's, and I went back to their little testy board, tested the lug nut that came off the truck, and then I grabbed the new one, and they went on the same, but it wouldn't go on the truck. And then I went to the next peg over on the board, and the lug nut went on, and then the new one that I bought would not go on. So when I showed you the lug nuts were all busted up, I'm going to assume that they were just old and worn out, and quite possibly had been on and off many times, because dude probably just destroyed rear tires on this and was going through them at the cyclic rate. And so the threads were all mushed out, and it would fit on both. So I had to get new lug nuts. And when you're in a spot where you can't wait for shipping and you have to have something right now, because if I'd ordered it yesterday, it would process today, they maybe would have been here by Thursday, and Thursday night the truck's getting packed. I couldn't risk waiting for them to be ordered. And these ones are as you saw the cracking, these just have a sleeve on them, and it spins inside the acorn thing, because they have like a tapered edge you saw. I don't like, that's a horrible idea. Why would you do that? That's like, I get, now it won't spin on the thing won't spin on the wheel and blah blah blah, but it just doesn't seem like a quality product. So I got different ones that look identical, but they're one piece. They don't have the spinny thing, so they shouldn't crush and crack like that. But my God, they were expensive. So that hurt a lot. But you'll see them a little bit later. Also, I had talked about, and I filmed this yesterday, but for some reason when I was watching the videos this morning, there was no audio. So, if you remember, well, actually I will show you. Remember how I cleaned the garage? That lasted all of half a day. So all the way around the truck, there were these. It said RAM and SRT10 and all of that stuff, and they're all chrome. I, personally, cannot stand chrome. Personal choice. Everyone's got their own opinions. That's mine. And the plan was to make all of those chrome badges match the stripe on the hood. And at the last minute, I decided, no, I think I just want to debadge the truck. So I went through and I took a heat gun and a little fishing line and saw motion back and forth, peeled all of them off, and then 3M makes a adhesive removing compound. You just scrub like crazy and it comes off. It needs a cut and a buff, good polish. just because, like, you can see it's kind of permanent. It's not really showing up on camera. There's just like a permanent mark in the paint from where the badges were. So it needs a little bit of love, a little bit of detail work, but it's getting better, and I can't wait to finish this and show you guys the finished product. And just what has been done already from where this truck was when I picked it up. Yes, it's rattle can. Yes, it's the cheap, redneck, hillbilly, white trash, whatever you want to call it, fix. But again, I'm going way outside the box on my design. I'm taking the Stinger stripe off of the Yellow Fever edition, and then I'm taking the stripe off of the VCA edition, but changing it to look like the Stinger edition or the Yellow Fever edition, but it's all different colors. And I'm doing things that weren't an option. And before I spend the thousands of dollars to have it professionally painted and everything, as far as the cosmetics, I'm less than $200 into this truck to drastically A, fix things that were absolutely screwed up, and B, make sure that it's what I wanted it to be before I spend all that kind of money. So between the issue with the lug nuts and the change from changing the badging to removing the badging, that ate a couple hours yesterday, and we didn't get things done. I still have a couple items to do. Trying to keep the sun out of y'all's eyes. I'm good. So got a couple things left to do. It was getting late, and I was having some issues. They're really not better today. I'm moving slow for sure, but wife wanted to be done, and as much as I wanted to keep going, it was probably a good idea that I stopped, because I was starting to hurt pretty bad. So I did not get the rear diff fluid, so we have that left to do, and plugs and wires. And I think that's everything. Yes, rear diff, plugs and wires. And we have to cosmetic the rear wheels. So I'm going to get started on that. I will, of course. Oh, remember a little bit ago I showed you the messed up air filter and the brand new K&N? They sent me the wrong one. The lady that I was speaking to on the phone when I ordered all of the parts did not ask me which K&N setup I had, or which air intake setup I had, and she just ordered the filter she thought. There's two, so they're not 100%, not like she totally screwed up. There's two different filters that K&N makes, and depending as to which intake system you have is the one you need. And 50-50 chance she clicked the wrong button. No harm, no foul. It'll be in, they said, Wednesday, and it takes all of 30 seconds to change. So I took the air hose, kind of blew out the filter just to make it a little bit better, and use it for a couple days. So should be done today. Oh, that was, rest my hand on the spoiler and smack the spoiler. Good job. Videography 101. So should have everything done today, and then they'll call me Wednesday, and I'll bam swap in that filter, and yeah. Anyway, okay, that's it. Really, I need to get to work. So you guys hang tight, and I'll be back with you in just a minute. Alright, guys. Spark plugs are done. And while they don't look good, They definitely don't look terrible. I have absolutely seen worse. I've driven on worse. But I'm trying to take care of this thing. And everything I have seen so far tells me that this guy or gal, whoever owned this before me, because I did buy it from a car lot. So whoever had it before me did minimal maintenance, which is sadly a vast majority of people. I was one of those people when I was younger. I didn't understand the importance. Like, why should I change this? Why? It's still there. The level's good. Why do I need to change? Now I understand. I didn't know. So I try to get the word out as much as I can and help people. And so A, they didn't do, absolutely did not do proper maintenance. B, when they did maintenance, it was on the cheap, which is, there is nothing wrong with that. If your budget doesn't allow for the high end, the higher quality, the better stuff, that's fine. Take care of your vehicle though. Do what you can. Which, I would say for the most part that happened. The engine oil was absolutely past due, but I have had the thing for, I don't know, 200 or 300 miles, which was like, I bought it in January. It's May. I don't ever drive it, and I didn't ever have the time, because I knew that once I started doing the engine oil, I would want to go through the entire vehicle. So I just didn't really drive it. Wife doesn't touch it at all, so it just sits when I'm not home. And I drive it maybe once every time I'm home. So it just sits here. It's something I've always wanted. I've got it. It's my play toy. And I'm not upset at all. But I did not do the spark plug wires because and I'm cleaning the engine bay later today too, so don't freak out about that. I am cleaning the engine bay. But those wires feel almost brand new, still extremely soft, still have like that, like when a brand new wire, you kind of get that, I don't want to say slimy, but kind of slick feel. They still have that extremely soft, no dry rot, no nothing. And they're a good brand. So not changing the plug wires. I do have a set. I will keep them in the garage so that I have them if I ever need them, whenever it's time, yada yada yada. But those feel like they were recently done, so I don't want to throw away a set of wires that are potentially still in really great shape. I have no misfires, no issue, no spark delivery issue. I did change the plugs because, like I said, they looked bad, and a plug is going to go out way before a wire most of the time. So that's as far as we're going under the engine on this, aside from cleaning it, which will happen. You'll see that a little bit later. However, the neighbor's sprinkler is running, so I'll be doing the engine bay a little bit later. It will happen today, though. Promise. So I'm going to start it up, let it get up to operating temp, check all of the fluids, because remember, as I said before, I put most of the fluids in there. The engine oil right now is reading completely full, which I'm not sure that I believe, because I only have 9 quarts in there, and it says it takes a little over 10. So I'm thinking that because this thing sits for so long, like it's sat now for 2 weeks, hasn't been started. All the oil is just kind of seeped out, so I'll start it up, let it do everything, let it run for a couple minutes, shut it off, check the fluid level again, and I'll bet I'll need to add another quart. And then the same with the trans. So we'll let everything get warmed up, we'll check those fluid levels, and well, I lied to you. That's not happening right now. I am going to jack up the rear end and do the rear diff fluid first, just because I want to, and I've had some issues with the lug nuts, as you saw, and I need to have these off before wife comes home, because she has a part in this that she does that I can't do, because I do not possess the patience that she does. So I'm going to get the rear end done, get that fluid done, and then we'll worry about starting it up. But with all the issues I've had with the lug nuts on this thing, I mean, getting the ones off the front, there was some of them I had to take a hammer and beat the socket on, because they're just like mushroomed and bulbous, and like one part's popping out, and they're terrible. Cheap garbage. Those are awful. So I'm going to get the tail end of this thing up in the air and get the fluid drained out and get the wheels off, and I'll catch up with you guys in a little bit. Alright guys, I don't have my microphone, and I don't have my little holdy sticky thing, so you have to bear with the poor quality for this section of the video. However, it's a very, very important part of this. When you get to doing a differential, you always want to remove the fill plug before the drain plug, because as I just learned, well, I've known this for a long time, but I was barely able to get this plug out. Like, it took everything I had, a cheater pipe on the ratchet. Like, it did not want to come out. Now, if I had pulled this and I couldn't get this to refill it, I would be screwed. So you want your fill plug not out. I mean, it wouldn't hurt, but at least this way you know right where it is, but definitely cracked loose. Then you worry about your drain plug. So just wanted to give you guys that piece of information, and I'll catch back up with you in a bit. All right, guys. So we're still under the rear end here. So excuse the poor quality and audio, but another very important part, if you're doing not just these trucks, but anything with a Positrack or limited slip, when you're putting the new gear oil in, make sure to verify if your manufacturer requires a friction modifier or a limited slip supplement. I've already put 1 quart in, and that was just because I didn't want to put this thing in the bottom. I don't know, it's a weird thing I have. Like, if I'm putting any fuel additive in, I always squirt a gallon or 2 of fuel in just to make sure there's something in the bottom. And if I'm putting any type of additive, I want some of the natural, whatever is supposed to be in said orifice in there before. So I put 1 quart of gear oil in. Now I'm doing this, and then I will top it back off with more gear oil. So this will be the last time you guys get a video from the underneath of the truck. Next one will be last bit of cosmetic stuff, and then this thing's road ready. I'll catch up with you guys shortly. All right, guys. The rear diff is done. Got our friction modifier in. Got our 3 quarts of gear oil. Drained and refilled the coolant with what was it? Xerox Geo5 is the one recommended for the Viper. Tried to clean off the engine. It got cleaner, but it's just been so not maintained. It's going to take a good solid day of scrubbing to get it to come back, which even then it might not. It is cleaner. Added some purple ice to the fresh antifreeze just to keep it a little cooler. I never had a problem with it getting hot, but I like the added protection. Besides that, a cooler engine, not like cold, but a cooler engine is a happy engine. So it's been sitting here idling for, I don't know, probably 10 or 15 minutes, and it's still under 200, which is good. I was right, it was 1 quart low on engine oil. And because the transmissions are so sensitive, like if you overfill a transmission, it can fry the pump or any other crap inside. So I only put 4 quarts in to start with, and it wound up taking 3 more, so a total of 7 quarts in the trans. And got the wheels off, obviously. She's ready and waiting. Wife should be here in probably about 45 minutes, which means I have time to prep the wheels so that she can just work her magic when she gets here, and then I can finish it up. And I can wash the truck, because as you've seen in all the video clips, it absolutely needs that. Which will then allow me to, as soon as the last part is done, which I'm waiting for wife, I can throw the truck back together and we are ready to go down the road. So, God, I've been waiting for this for a long time. Like I said, I bought this 5 months ago. I have never really driven it because I didn't know the state of the affairs it was in. And as I'm going through and changing everything, it's all been so bad. So bad. I'm glad that I didn't really do more than, a 5-mile trip here and then back home, or over here and back home. Little tiny trips, because everything was bad. Now everything's fresh and ready to go, and we're going to take a long road trip where we'll actually see if these do get the horrifyingly projected 7 miles to the gallon. We are letting it sit here and idle because the engine cleaner that I used says that after you thoroughly rinse it, which I have thoroughly rinsed, you need to let it idle and get up to temp and get hot to bake everything off that might be left over, get all the water out of it so it's not sitting in plugs and that, because I've never pressure washed the inside of an engine bay and it terrified me. However, I saw a lot of YouTube videos saying you do it. They said do it on this product, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And like I said, it cleaned it up, but it's still it's not good. It's got a ways to go. So the next time you see, here in just a second, what you will see is the truck completely finished, the truck washed, and yeah, should be ready to go. I'm super sorry, I'm all over the place. I'm excited. I have wanted this thing forever, and even now I don't really want to drive too much on it, just because I know these tires aren't great, and I have to do a I ride about 600 miles or something like that, and then we'll get new tires. But the trip home, she will be completely done, ready to rock and roll, and back to the glory that she was when she rolled off the production floor 15 years ago. I can't wait to bring you guys along with that. So the next video you see will be my trip to Oregon, everything I do over there, all the fun stuff, not just this. I am all over the place. There's a lot more than just this happening. We got a lot of things planned for the trip to Oregon. It's going to be great. So that'll be the next video that's uploaded. I'll see you guys. Well, shortly I'll be back with the reveal of everything completely done and the truck sitting pretty. So I'll catch you in a bit. And there we are. Done. What I thought was going to take most of a day, all of a day, wound up taking 2 full days, and that's with the help of wife. But as I said before, this was much needed maintenance. It's peace of mind. I know every fluid front to back is brand new except for the brake fluid, but I did look at it. It's not black, it's not discolored. It's most likely it's fine. I'll probably change it sometime soon. But there was also a whole lot of cosmetic changes. Some of them you've already seen, some of them you have not. So while I go in and get a shower, why don't you guys go ahead and enjoy this little montage of everything that was done cosmetically to the truck. All right, got a shower, feels so much better. So, hope you enjoyed that montage. Now we'll kind of go over what you guys saw. All right, first, obviously, the wheels that were done up to match the stripe. Now, as I said before, they made an edition of this truck called the Yellow Fever, and that's really the one I wanted because I don't know, it was cool. Yellow with a black stripe. Thought it was neat. And I decided that since I had a black truck, I would inverse that. But instead of just going for a yellow, because I figured yellow wheels would look really dumb, but a lot of manufacturers are starting to release bronze wheels as a factory option. So I went with the bronze stripe, knowing that I was doing this. And again, this is all temporary. I wanted to make sure that I liked the look, that I liked the way it all turned out, before I spent the thousands of dollars on a paint job and having the wheels powder coated and repaired and everything else. Also, you will remember up on the driver door right here, and then up on the passenger door, I'll show you that one when I go around, there was the SRT10 logo. Originally the plan was to bronze those to match everything else. I kind of thought that might be too much, so opted to just get rid of them completely, and I'm very happy with the way that turned out. Now, as I said, it does need a polish. It does have this permanently in. Just a simple cut and a buff on that, and that'll go away. So I'm not worried about that at all. This was just, I was returning a part that I had ordered that I didn't use, and I saw this there, and for this, and I got a new stereo because the one that was in it was broken. The only thing that worked was the volume knob. You couldn't do anything else with it. So turned in that part, got both of those, and a couple bucks back in my pocket. Now this, all four of these and this were all chrome, and I think that blacked out is absolutely the way to go. As I said before, I am not a fan of chrome in any way. And this seemed, what I did here seemed like the best way to get rid of all of that. Now, as I said before, I would not in any way ever advocate spray painting a vehicle, especially a collector's like this. Now, the only reason I did that is if you go back to the older video, it was absolutely destroyed. I tried wet sanding it to correct it. It went down to primer. Up on the roof, there were spots where it had eaten all the way through down to bare metal. It was starting to rust. It was just surface. Thankfully, caught it in time, was able to sand it away and reprimer, repaint. Now, again, I would not advocate doing this to this kind of truck, but since it was already that bad, and there's a bunch of, little nicks and scratches, rock chips all over the front bumper. This fender was hit at some point, and it was very poorly repaired. There's a little dent right here in the door. The rear bumper was hit right here, and I don't know what the heck that is. spoiler's gonna need repainted. No, like I said. And then, oh yeah, that's beautiful. Again, I would not advocate for spray painting a truck, a car, and anything that was in good shape. This was in desperate need of paint. And for the umpteenth time, before I spent the thousands of dollars to repair the bodywork and then have a two-tone paint like this put on it, I wanted to make sure I like it. I wanted to run with it for a few months, see if I was like, alright, it's cool. And that got old. Same thing with the powder coating of the wheels. Really easy to bead blast some rattle can paint off. Powder coat, a little bit more work, it's doable, but more work. And I'm $150 into this whole thing, cosmetically. So, for $150, it looks better than it did. Because as I said before, those front wheels were turning pink. And the clear coat was gone on them. The back ones weren't too bad, but all four wheels are curb rashed. I don't know how you managed to hit all four of them, but it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. So yeah, before I spent all the money to fix it, I wanted to try what I thought would look good, and I'll run it for a few months and we'll see what happens. I was gonna take it for a drive, but it's almost 6 o'clock, and wife's gonna be home from work any minute, and we're gonna do dinner, and I think I'll take it for a drive tomorrow. Now that it's got all the fluids done and she's happy and it looks good, and as you saw earlier, the exhaust is there. It's better than it was, and again, whacking off the muffler and welding in a piece of pipe is a cheap way out. But I've never played with a V10. I had an idea in my head of what I wanted for an exhaust system. It's not an off-the-shelf kit, so it would be I buy all the parts I want, take it to an exhaust shop, and have them build it all together. But again, we're looking at $3,000 or $4,000. So before I put all that money into it, I wanted something similar to where I was going, to see if I liked it or I hated it. But that's enough of that. I am going to go inside and relax, spend some time with the kids, and help wife with dinner. So that's gonna be it. Well, this will be the last upload on this channel until next Monday. So you guys got a full week of nothing from me. Unless something happens in the next few days, but most likely not. My back is absolutely killing me. It hurts to walk, it hurts to stand up, it hurts to do everything at this point. But this had to get done, so push through it, do what you gotta do, and now this thing is ready to go to Oregon. And before I get the keyboard warriors, wife did almost all of the cosmetic stuff. The only thing I did was spray the back wheels. She did all the masking, she did the grill, she did almost all of this. A couple weeks ago when I did that video, I did some of the sanding, which I paid for that. And then wife did almost all of the cosmetic stuff, so kudos to her. Anyway, this time I am going inside. And I hope you guys enjoyed that little video, and I'll see you when I see you.